This video is Operation Save Subaru, or at least I'm gonna attempt to save it. Now in my last video, I saved this thing from going to the scrapyard, and I bought it for $300. And while you may think that is a bargain, this thing has tons and tons of issues. The check engine light's on, we have tons and tons of oil leaks all over the engine, the timing belt is ready to break, a whole bunch of neglected maintenance, we have exhaust issues, we have axle issues, and we have ball joint issues. And you could write all this off as just being the typical Subaru tune-up for one of these things. Now first up is I'm going to take the engine out of this thing because every gasket basically has to be resealed, and I feel more comfortable just doing it on an engine stand rather than in the car. It's just that much more nicer, and these engines are very difficult to take out. Now I'm actually gonna pressure wash the engine bay because it's absolutely dirty and disgusting. So let's pull this thing out and get it all cleaned up, and let's get at it. Now I gotta dry this thing off, and GOOLOO actually sent me this little air blaster. Kind of a weird name, but this thing is actually freaking sweet when it comes to cleaning stuff up or doing detailing and stuff like that. I'm gonna leave a link in the description down below, but check this thing out. This thing works awesome. This is the GOOLOO F3 compressed air duster model. It can spin up to 150,000 RPM. So no more having to dig out the air hose. You have 3 adjustment speeds, and it's lightweight and portable. And it comes with a few different attachments so you can really direct the airflow in the way that you want it. Again, shout out to GOOLOO for sending me this thing to review. All right, now that this engine bay is all clean, let's get this engine out. All right, well, I'm letting all these fluids out of this thing. I'm gonna drop the exhaust. I'm gonna get the mounts loosened up down here and taking out those bolts and just everything out from underneath, even the bell housing bolts and stuff like that. Should be a pretty straightforward engine removal. So, fingers crossed. Oh, gosh. Woo. Oh, baby. Well, that's a pain to do by yourself. All right, now that you see I got the exhaust off, you can see the extent of this oil leak in the back of the cylinder head here to the front. Look at this oil filter housing. It's just nasty, caked with a bunch of oil. And I found another leak, the water pump. Good thing I ordered the water pump with the timing belt. You can see that's all coolant right here leaking from the bottom of the gasket on the back side there. So we're gonna replace that too. Same thing back here, look at the oil. Just covered. Now normally you would take this ground strap off. That's shot. And same thing on this side. Here's the ground strap, junk. So all we gotta do is take this mount off here, this mount off here, just the bolts. And then since it's up in the air, we're gonna take those bell housing bolts off right here and here, and probably do that top one too. Then everything else we can reach on top. All right, and just like that, easy peasy. It was that simple. So now we're gonna move along to the top side of the engine and get all that stuff out. And it shouldn't take very long, but then we'll get this thing out and then we'll see the actual damage that we're dealing with here. All right, and not that I really have to, but I'm gonna remove the hood because then I can get better footage with this thing out of the way, more lighting. Oh. How's that for lighting? All right, now we get to create the pile of parts. So let me get this AC sucked down here. Still have Freon in it. There's that filter. Look at that. Ugh. Okay, the AC is sucked down. Get these out of the way. All right, and now we get to take all of those torque converter bolts out and make a nice little slot here to make it easy to get at. And right there. Ah. You got to give Subaru the credit here. They do make these things pretty simple to work on. So thank you, Subaru. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the radiator just so if I bring this thing forward, I don't slam the engine into it. And again, another really easy thing to take out and get out of the way here. So that's what we're gonna do. Look at this thing. Look how nasty that stuff is. I should probably get a radiator too. This thing's all bent up too. The bracket on the bottom right here was actually all bent up. I think they bottomed it out on something. You could see a bunch of scrape marks all underneath. So I'm gonna try to bend this back, and this might be tweaked too. So I'll probably try to find another radiator at bare minimum just on the safe side. And just like that, everything is up and out of the way. I think we can probably pull it out now. I got the power steering pump and everything out of the way. All the AC lines and all that stuff is off. All the bolts on the bell housing are off. The torque converter bolts are out. So we just got to strap this thing up and get it in the air, and hopefully this case back here, right here, starts to separate right away. So let me get the cherry picker up and over this thing, get it mounted, and we will try to break it free and get this thing up and out of this thing. Let all my goodies out of the way. Get this thing up and over here. And I borrowed my chain, so I have no lifting chain. So we're going to use a seatbelt. Wish me luck on this. All right, let's see what happens here. And she might fight me. All right, I kind of broke free right here. Yep, we got it. There we go. This side's out. Oh, come on, baby Jesus. Don't tell me I missed a bolt. No, it's just stuck. It was broke free on the bottom. It's just on that dowel pin is stuck. Stuck right here on this dowel pin. Right here. It's almost out. It's gotta go. Oh yeah, we got her. There. Look at that. Just gonna slide a jack under here. Yeah, with a little piece of wood on it. Alright. And all this is gonna do is support the transmission so it doesn't go slinging down into the cradle. The cradle of filth. Could probably pull this thing forward a little bit more. Oh, and the torque converter's wanting to come with it. The torque converter did pull out with it here, so hopefully I'm not making a humongous mess. Doesn't look like it yet. Nothing left but the crying. Ooh! I think everything looks like it's up out of the way. It's really leaning hard to the left side. That's okay. My seatbelt is holding. Thankfully, should be able to squeeze this thing up out of here now. You can see this torque converter pull down a little bit. Gotta make sure that's back in there. There we go. It's back on. All right, now let's get this baby on an engine stand here. And thankfully, I think I got some old Subaru bolts. The goal will be to start a few of these. Once I get a couple started, then I can try to shift this thing over. As you can see, it's gonna fight me. Everything kind of tight, a little janky on how it is, but so be it. Engine doesn't weigh that much, right? Taking these brackets up here, make sure she don't move anywhere. All right, will she tumble? Will she tumble? We good. We are good. All right, golden. There we have it. It's out. The engine is finally out of this tired girl. So you can see we got the opening pretty dirty still. But as you can see over here, we have the engine on the stand. Look at that pretty thing. And it is scuzzy. Now we have it out, we can really see how nasty this thing is. And my seatbelt trick worked. Seatbelts are surprisingly strong. Okay, so now the easy part. We gotta tear this engine down and reseal all the gaskets on it and put a timing belt on it. So that's next. This is always the disgusting part. Look at all the stuff that's been living on here now for well over 15 years. Pretty disgusting. What's that? Something that used to be an acorn maybe? You can see where the crossover tube was. These gaskets are long gone, so hopefully that's in the kit. Now I gotta take this timing cover off. Just look at some of these bolts on this thing. Oh my gosh. It looked like it just grew at the bottom of the ocean here. Look at this one too. Oh man. Hopefully there's gonna be something there I can grab onto to get these things off. She's a gross one. Give me some luck, baby Jesus. Nope. She's its own size now. Oh, we got her. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Here's a big middle finger to you rust gods out there. The good news is they're coming out. All right, now that we got the timing cover off, just look at this timing belt. The cracks are so deep. It's like ledges. You can feel it. They got really lucky. This is the original belt. I'm almost certain. Oh yeah, it is. It still says Subaru on it. Look at that. 180,000 miles from 2009. Jesus, people. You know, this would be one of those jobs that I would try to quote somebody during an oil change or something like that, and they would be so pissed off that I called them to let them know that if this belt breaks, you could do engine damage. And they'd go, I just came in for the damn oil change, screw you! And you just crossed your fingers that those belts would break for those people. Yeah, the teeth look like they were ready to come off. All right, and now I get to fight these rusted out frickin' valve cover bolts that really want to break. I got it cracked loose. Boy, does she not want to come out. Oh boy. Don't break. More heat. Oh, come on. Just go. Maybe. I think it moved. Oh, it's moving. Oh, God. Come on now. Oh, scary. Well, now what am I going to do about those? Gotta try to find some valve cover bolts. Oh, good Lord. Ta-da! This is where I wish I had one of those laser guns that did the cleaning. Just. All right, but as you can see, it's pretty disgusting. A little bit of carbon on the pistons, of course. Actually the cross hatching on these cylinders look great. You know, being that the piston sits here, you know, it sits there and grinds away at this lower half with gravity, and I'm not seeing much wear at all. The cross hatching looks wonderful on this, and you can see there's a ton of carbon right here too. But overall, should be a terrible one to clean up. I'll have to hose her off and clean her up and just double check to make sure the valves are seating. But if not, I might just take the valves out and lap them too, since we're here. Probably be a smart thing to do. But let's get the other cylinder head off, and then we'll get to cleaning this thing. Oh, really, dude? You had to. You had to fight me. Oh, we got her. Yeah, you whistling me that nice song there. I gotta get out of the rust belt states. This sucks. Oh, my truth, can't get this out without the dipstick being a pain in my ass. Oh, I can. Nice. We are now cooking here. A bunch of parts everywhere. A couple of cylinder heads off. So I need to get this thing cleaned up because this is filthy. I'm gonna reseal the oil pan too. I did get a rear main seal for it. I gotta clean these up and just check for straightness on the heads. I'm pretty sure they'll be pretty dang close because they weren't overheated or anything like that. And rip the rest of this timing stuff off because that's all gonna be new, and you can hear these pulleys. They'll kind of sound a little grindy. So we've got all new pulleys, a new water pump, and I gotta clean all this stuff up too. So hopefully it looks like a fresh motor once I'm all done with it here. right, so I got all the timing stuff off of the engine. I got the cylinder heads all cleaned up and all that stuff. But I wanted to show you this little trick I just tried out here that worked out pretty good. I used this Marvel Mystery Oil, and while I was cleaning those cylinder heads, I just put it in the cylinders to help clean up the carbon on these pistons and stuff. And I came through and wiped this a few times, but look how clean these pistons came. I got that ring ridge, all that carbon off of the top of the ring there. But this Marvel Mystery Oil seems to work pretty darn good. Let me just show you the bottom side. I haven't touched that yet. Try not to dump all this stuff out here. This is the other bank. Look how dirty this stuff still is. So I'm gonna do the Marvel Mystery Oil on this side too, but that's turning out really good from this all the way over to this. And some of this stuff, you know, right here and stuff like that, it's all staining. You know, you can rub your finger across it, you don't feel anything. But Marvel Mystery Oil, try it out if you guys are trying to clean some of this stuff. Seems to be an easy way to get this carbon loosened up and taken off. Now onto these cylinder heads, I have to take these valves out because I did notice one intake valve just wasn't sealing the greatest when I'm putting water in here. Now these cylinder heads actually have almost like a Honda VTEC style rocker arm assembly where this intake valve at idle, it doesn't open all the way. So you have to release the tension on these things right here. I'm gonna do that with my own little trick. But if you don't release them, you could risk damaging the threads when you take this out. So it's a good idea to get this thing loosened up and backed off here. And so I'm gonna do that to both of these. I'm gonna get these valves out, we'll lap them, clean them up. Oh yeah, and look how clean I got these valve covers. Pretty proud of that. These things were just filthy. They look brand new. All right, so we gotta get the tension off of these rockers. How are we gonna do that? With a special tool. So all I'm gonna use here is an extension with a 4mm socket. We're gonna put it right here on that little tab like so. We're gonna move this up and try to get a screwdriver behind here. There we go, just like so. So now that tension's off the rocker. We'll do it on this side too. Same thing, just like that. So now we can remove this whole rocker assembly. And there is your rocker assembly. Okay, all right, now we kind of have a good visual of the cam. All this stuff looks pretty good. Lobes look okay. A little discoloration, stuff like that, which is normal. Now we gotta get these valves out. Couple of keepers and a valve. Now 7 more. And they're all out. Ta-da! Now as you can see, there's just a lot of carbon buildup on these valve seats here. I'm gonna use some lapping compound, clean these up with the valves. I'll clean the valves up too and wipe all this crud out of here. Try to get it as cleaned up as possible. We'll put the valves in. We'll do the same to that cylinder head. And then I'm gonna reseal the oil pan on this thing. This stuff is still soaking. And just look how clean it's getting it. It's just sitting in there, mind you. No scrubbing yet, nothing. Just sitting in the cylinder. And that's what it did. So let's lap some valves. Okie dokie. She's looking pretty clean. Now it's time for the valve grinding compound. All right, now I got all the valves lapped up, ready to go. As you can see right here, got a nice sealing surface now. And I'm going to put some valve stem seals in too because, well, they're old. I'm talking about these little seals right here that sit on top of the valve guides. So I'm gonna replace all those real quick. We'll put the valves back in, slap those rocker arm assemblies on, and then I gotta tackle this one, and then that thing. Okay, and valves are back in with the retainers. I did put water in the ports just to make sure everything is sealed up. And we got no leaks on the intake side, but we'll check the exhaust side too. This is just a simple way to check it. It's not foolproof, right? There's no pressure on it or anything like that. But it is a good way to make sure the valves are lapped. You're not having any more leakage. When I put water in the ports before, this valve right here actually had a little bit of leakage, and now it's nice and dry. And that's what I wanted to remedy before I just slapped this thing back in, and then we had a misfire or something wacky like that. Cylinder head number 2 is disassembled, ready to clean and lap. Almost done. Well, all the valves are back in. Double check everything here. Put the rocker assembly back on here. I'll put some lube on this thing first. Make sure we're all lubed up. When we start this thing, we're not gonna have any issues. And there we go. All right, I don't want to forget my springs here. Put those in the back in the right spot too. 1 and 2. Oh boy. Well, we've come this far, so I might as well try to clean up some of this stuff in here. Get these windage trays out of here and clean that stuff. Looks like there's not a lot of stuff in there, but I'm just gonna hose this thing out too. You can see there's some carbon crap sludge built up in here. All right, I got the trays out, got that stuff all cleaned up. A little bit of carbon and stuff, sludge buildup, not terrible. I'm gonna wipe some of this more away, but everything else is looking nice and good. So once I finish up with cleaning here, we'll try to put this back together. The O-ring here and the O-ring here, I need to find those. So fingers crossed I got that. All right, well, I kind of ate my words yesterday because I thought I was gonna be able to find these O-rings because I have a ton of O-rings in stock from over the years. You can see this one's like flattened. I mean, it's hard. I've kind of tried to recondition it because I was gonna think about reusing it, but I'm this far in, I don't wanna redo it. And then this is another one too that is just flat. You can kind of see it here. And well, the only way that I could actually get these O-rings was Subaru, but just for one of these O-rings, it was 23 bucks, and this one was like $16 or something like that. So it was like almost 40 bucks for 2 O-rings from Subaru. And I did some internet gazing, and I found that Felpro sells an oil pan gasket, which it's like this crappy rubber gasket, which I'm not gonna use, but they include both of the O-rings, and this was a $10 gasket. So I'm basically buying $10 worth of stupid O-rings. But I just figured, I'm this far in, I just don't want to have any oil starvation or anything like that just because I messed with these O-rings now. Like, they probably wouldn't be a good thing to reuse. So I got one for the pickup and then one for this port back here on the oil pan. And I'm going to use silicone on this, get everything put back in. I got this stuff cleaned up real nicely here. You see here's the pickup tube. The thing was all varnished up, and that's clean now, and this is all clean too. And then we got the Right Stuff gasket maker. And heck, since I'm here, why don't I just show you all the other parts that I got for this engine job. All right, so we got tons and tons of stuff. I got belts, I got a solenoid and that switch that were leaking on that one bank, spark plugs, wires. I am gonna do 2 oil changes because I'm gonna do break-in lube and stuff like that. So I kinda like to get that out of there. So I'll do a short trip oil change and then we'll change it once more. Engine air filter, a nice ASIN timing belt and water pump kit. These are nice kits, these are beautiful. So everything is included in here. That's gonna be a nice kit to put in. A genuine Subaru rear main seal. We're gonna seal that up since it's out. And then a nice Felpro head gasket set with everything included. So we're just gonna do all the gaskets and stuff too. I already got the fuel injectors and stuff like that figured out. We gotta do the cam seals, the water crossover pipe and all that stuff too. So lots of stuff going on today. We gotta get this engine assembled back together. So let me get the oil pan, all that stuff wrapped up, put the cylinder heads back on, and then we're putting it back in. So let's do this. A new O-ring here on the pickup tube. Make it go into a perfect fit here. All right, I need your honest opinion for you Subaru guys out there that work on these engines all the time. When you get to the cylinder head bolt retorquing sequence, do you guys actually loosen all the bolts 180 or do you just send it that way without torquing that down? I'm obviously gonna do it the way they tell you to, but I always think it's such a ridiculous step to loosen everything, but let me know in the comments. I really don't know why it's done that way. Is it to seat the gasket differently or something? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you know. Oh yeah, and I'm reusing the valve cover bolts that I had to take out, the ones that fought me. I clean them up. You can see the head on some of these aren't very good, so I might put these on top so I can get at them later to replace them, because I don't know where to even get these style bolts yet, other than Subaru. So fingers crossed that it doesn't leak, but I'm gonna put these on top and the good ones on the bottom. That way, hopefully, if I end up getting a leak, I can get at them a lot easier. All right, well, that wasn't so bad. We got one head on, the valve cover's on, plugs are in. Gotta rotate it and do the same to the other side. The biggest deal is torquing the head bolts. Just takes so much damn time on these for some reason. And there's only 6 bolts. All right, I'm gonna slap that cylinder head on. You guys know the drill of how that one works. I'm gonna put the other one on quick, and then we'll move on to the timing components. So let's go there. Okay, we are ready for our timing components. Look how pretty all these parts are gonna be. Beautiful water pump, made in Japan tensioner. That's the best thing about these. Everything's made in Japan, so it's like high quality precision. Another stamp of approval. All these things are made in Japan. And a United States of America belt. Man, that is a beautiful set. You don't get much better than that. No Chinese crap here. And actually, now that I just remembered that I got this thing here, I gotta do cam seals, I almost forgot. So cam seals first, then this goodies. And then I think we could probably button this thing up, get it back in the car. Woo! Now, with all that stuff out of the way, thankfully, we can move along to the timing components and this water pump. So again, new gasket, new parts, got the little rubber grommet thing that helps keep the dust away, and then all the new pulleys, and then we will get the belt on. Now these timing components can go back in their place. All right, torquey schmorky. Now the cool thing about this timing belt is it has cam marks and a crank mark right here. Now we can use the belt to just line up everything on each pulley to actually verify this thing's in time instead of just going off the marks on the block. And this is always the fighter right here. Oh God. All right. Please tell me you're right. We are on. That thing is, we're just a little bit forward, a little bit forward, a little bit forward. Bet you if I just move this back just a hair, everything will come back into time. As you see, we're timed in right here. Timed in right here on the crankshaft. And the other camshaft is right in line here. And we are golden. So we can slap this baby back together now and go back into the car. I got these bolts kind of cleaned up too. These are like the valve cover, where everything was just pitted and rusty and nasty, but we got to use them. So the one thing I also want to do is replace this O-ring and this O-ring for the crossover coolant tube. And thankfully, they included them in the kit. So I got to throw those on too. The engine is assembled. We got the cherry picker out. I'm gonna try a different plan of attack here. I got an engine level I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna use it on the manifold, which is probably a little sketch, but I still gotta put this rear main seal in. I wanna get that in, and the leveler should help get this thing guided back in. So hopefully I don't drop this engine on the ground. Let's see what happens. It really doesn't look like it was like leaking a whole lot or anything. There's like a little bit of residue, but it doesn't look terrible. But we're here. The thing's 15 plus years old. We're gonna replace it and clean it up. Got a little bit of oil on this lip of the seal here. And just like that, we are making our way back in. Wasn't so bad, see? one of those things that anybody can do. Being a mechanic is the easiest job in the world. That's why mechanics don't get paid shit. Hey, Louise, a little more room would have been nice, huh? Oh yeah. It's meant to be, baby. Meant to be. Okay, well, show you what we got working with here. Now we're pretty centered up. Got to go back down, and these are going to be the pain of the studs. But let's start bringing it down. She'll fall into place. It's simple. Stud there, stud there. Is it really going to be that easy? No way. No way. Got to figure out this one side angle over on that left side quick. Oh, perfect. I guess I'll just grab some bell housing bolts and drive her home. Sweet. Hey, here's one. Nothing sketchy about that. Hey, that's the trick. Just hammer it into place. There. As you can see, we are in. I have everything kind of buttoned up here, so it's nice and tight now. I did have to hammer those mounts in because the mounts were sitting on the subframe cockeyed because the way the engine position, but I just was able to tap it in and it fell right into place. So I got to put the torque converter bolts in right here. I got to get the intake manifold back on, all the accessory drives, and I still didn't get a radiator. I just have that old one, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit, and we're going to use it for now. And if I have to replace this radiator in the future, this is actually a really simple one to replace. The rest of this should go fairly quickly, so let me just get it all back together. And fingers crossed, everything works out like it should. So a couple more things we got to dink around with here, but once it's done, and we can finally run this thing. Now I just realized that my stretch belt didn't show up out of all of my stuff. So we're going to reuse the old one. And so be it, right? That's the plan. Oh, don't pop off. Well, it was still a pain in the ass to get on, so there's still some tension there, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, all right. Now I get to install my STI manifold. Huh? Huh? All right, yeah, I thought it was gonna be cooler than it actually was. Yeah. This engine is gonna be so happy now. Look at this old air filter in this new one. Absolutely disgusting. She's gonna be breathing. She's gonna be so happy. All right, I tried cleaning this radiator up the best I could, but this thing, I'm gonna replace it. It's disgusting. It's all tweaked from that bracket. I cleaned this all up, but the fins are just like deteriorating and stuff. So it's just time for a new radiator, but I don't have one, and I gotta run this thing. So we're gonna reuse it today, and then I'll just use it as an excuse to do a coolant flush on this thing too. Now I did bend that bracket back, so hopefully this thing sits better. We'll find out right now. Oh, much better. Perfect. I can finally remove these drywall anchors. Try to figure this thing out. Make sure it's actually in the right spot. What about one of these? Oh, perfect. Come on, that's almost factory fitment right there. All right, everything is back tidied up. We got the intake manifold on. We got all the radiator stuff. We got the shrouds on. I have to still put the exhaust on, and we're gonna put oil in it and stuff like that. I still have a couple of hoses, and I got to tighten up that radiator hose down here. But everything's looking good. It cleaned up nicely. The engine's in place. Let's get this thing in the air, get the rest of the stuff done. And being this exhaust is already shot like this, I think I'm going to just try to weld the mufflers back into place so it's not so dang loud so we don't have to listen to that crap. And maybe I'll just try to clean this up and booger weld some more booger weld on this system they tried to build up here. Oh man, this is never fun being a one-man band here. I'm gonna have to hire somebody. All right, well, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for the girls that I hang out with. 1 and 2. I'm gonna reuse these crusty gaskets too. I didn't get exhaust gaskets, but we'll be fine. That took longer than expected. All right, well, I'm unsure how important those ground straps were that go on the cylinder heads. They go right up here. They go to the chassis, and they go to the cylinder head here, and then right there on the cylinder head. I'm gonna order some straps, but for the meantime, I made just a couple of dummies with some 10 gauge wire. So it's gotta be better than nothing. So I'm gonna slap these on. Everything else is done. The car can go down. Exhaust bolts are tight. I got the back of the bell housing bolts. These are all done. That's done. All the exhaust is where it should be now. So that's all looking good. So let me get these on. We'll get the car down and get some oil in it. No! Shane! Dummy! Forgot to put the heater hose lines on. Should remember to put the heater hose lines on. Damn it. I was wondering why it wasn't bubbling and it just came in so fast. Oopsies! Okay, oil going down. Ah, seriously, dude. Nothing like having a freshly clean engine and spilling shit all over it. All right, so I got the fuel pump fuse taken out. The battery is hooked back up. Let's crank this thing, get some oil circulating through the engine, and then we will push it out and we can fire it up outside. It's probably gonna smoke. And the battery's dead. I gotta jump this thing real quick. Now, thankfully, the guys over at TOPDON sent me this JS3000 jumper pack. It fits basically in the palm of my hand, and this thing can jump diesel engines out into freezing cold, no joke. But check this thing out. It's just a simple power button right here. As you can see, we're on, and if you hold this button for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, now we enabled the boost option. It also has a fancy light so you can see what you're doing in the dark, which is an awesome feature. Now all you have to do is pop this thing open right here, plug your cables into place like so, power to power, negative to negative, and we are ready to crank this thing over. So all right, let's give it a whirl. And just like that, we have life with the old JS3000. So if you're in need of a jump starter that's portable and very, very compact with a carrying case, mind you, and it's simply charged with a USB charger, TOPDON JS3000. Give it a whirl. I'm gonna put a link in the description below if you wanted to get one of these for yourself. And thanks for TOPDON for supporting the channel and sending this out for a little sponsorship position here. Now I'm gonna get this hooked back up, we'll push the car out, and we'll get this thing running outside and see if she smokes a little bit. All right, fuel pump fuse back in. Moment of truth, fired up. All right, well, there we have it. You can hear it nice and quiet now. No more engine leaks. The coolant's pretty much burped out. So I'm gonna take the coolant off right now. I got the hood back on, and we're just gonna take it down the road real quick and make sure everything's up to snuff. Then we'll buzz it back, do a good look over, make sure nothing's leaking on the thing, get it back on the hoist, stuff like that. So let me get the coolant funnel off the thing and let's go take it for a quick test drive. I noticed just turning right there, I'm not gonna take this thing too far because that axle on the right front is really bad. I barely turned, and you can hear it just clunking away over here. So hopefully that check engine light comes back on for that PO420. Because I do want to try the cata-clean on this thing to make sure that actually works, because people swear by it. So that'd be kind of cool to make sure that works. So I'm fingers crossed I get another check engine light, which is a weird thing to want, right? Who wants a check engine light? But the engine's sounding great. It's feeling good. And overall, I'm happy so far. This thing's working pretty good. Obviously, time will tell. This is kind of a gamble. You know, the thing has 178,000 miles on it. Well, I'm going to take this thing for another spin for like a mile or two and make it back to the shop. And we'll just double check for leaks and everything. But overall, I think we are smooth sailing with this thing. I don't want to take it too far and have an axle blow up on me here too. So we'll swip around and go check it out. All right, let's see if she's leaking. Everything looks super good. I did spill oil when I was filling this thing up, so all that is for me. I tried cleaning it off, it's still kind of there. So all this on the valve cover and the spark plug and all that crap, that's for me. I spilled coolant here, and then stupid me forgot the heater hose lines when I was pouring coolant in, so there's coolant probably back there. Again, I tried cleaning all that off, but it is what it is. But overall, everything on top is nice and dry. All the head gasket stuff looks really good. I noticed one thing here. Look at this oil pressure switch. The center unit right here. I'll try to zoom in. I can see there's just a small puddle of oil. And honestly, when I took the engine out, I should have actually just bought those stupid sensors. They were dirt cheap. They're like $10. And I did put the one on this side right here. That one, because it was all rusted out and leaking. But I didn't replace the back one, and I didn't replace the oil sending unit for the switch on the gauge cluster. So I probably am going to buy just both of those sensors, just because that one, it's not obviously a bad leak, but I did take it for a little cruise, you know, and let it run and idle out here while I clean the shop, and you know, it's got an hour of runtime on it, and you can see there's a little bit of oil built up on it, so and it might get worse, so I'm just going to nip it in the butt and just do it. Let's get this thing up in the air, look at the underside, and see if all the head gaskets and all that stuff looks nice and dry. Fingers crossed, I think we did a good job. But we'll get it up in the air, let's look at everything as a whole, and then make our evaluation, and then figure out our next steps with this thing. So this is all nice and dry. The valve cover looks great. You can see all this gooey stuff and whatever. That's didn't come off with my clean and degrease in the beginning. That coolant right there on the boot, that's from yours truly. Oil filter area, all that looks good. Cam and crank seals, nothing coming out of the timing cover. A greasy bolt on the exhaust, I didn't clean, but the head gasket's nice and clean on this side. Oil pan is nice and dry in the back. Nothing coming out of the rear main seal. That's looking good. The back side of the cylinder head right here is looking dry. The back side of this cylinder head is also nice and dry. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a pretty good running machine here. Not leaking oil anymore, sounds great. The only thing is when you turn, this axle is horrendous. It's just bone dry. It might actually be damaged in there. But I do got new axles here, and the ball joints, both sides we're doing too. All right, so I got my Subi list here still, as you can see. Let me get you a little closer here. I'm hoping that that PO 420 comes back with the converter, that check engine light. But we did that oil pressure switch. However, now I need to get that engine oil pressure switch. So I'll just put EOP over here, engine oil pressure switch. But we did belts, timing belt, all that's done. The engine air filter's done. The spark plugs and wires done. We have to do a trans flush still. The engine gasket set's done. We did kind of fix the exhaust, so we're probably okay there for a while. And I did get a cabin filter for it. Now in the next video, I got axles. So that's going down, 2 axles, and then I also have some ball joints. And I think I'll probably just change all the fluids on the thing. I'll do a trans filter and drain some of that fluid out, put some new fluid in there, just do the differentials. I don't think any maintenance has been done on this thing. And I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with the thing. I would like to see it turned into something neat. I know people have suggested like an overland build or an off-roader, and I think that would be spectacular and awesome. I don't know how much I would use it, but I would also enjoy using it when I had the chance. But I got to do my research on that and see what people are doing to these things, or if it's really kind of cool to do. I know a lot of people suggest to just sell the thing or junk the thing or scrap it or whatever. I don't know if I could sell this thing and, you know, kind of make some money on it to get another cool car or whatever. I just don't think they have a lot of value to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, if these are a hot commodity per se, but I still have some decisions and time to make on the next option with this thing. She turned out pretty darn good. I ended up getting the shop all pretty much cleaned up, all my stuff put away, thankfully. So I literally ended up with Subaru all over the whole shop just doing the repairs on this thing. And proof of concept, look how disgusting that was. I mean, that was everything on the engine. So if you're enjoying the progress on this thing, watch the next video where I do some of the suspension stuff. That'll be another hoot of a video too. Also, I wanted to say thanks and a shout out to TOPDON again for supporting the channel. They sent me this product to review and stuff and use on the channel, and clearly it's useful. It helps me. So thank you, TOPDON. If you guys are in need of one of those jumper packs, seriously, go check them out. They're very affordable and portable. Like, they're the best jumper pack around. Like, I have this old jumper pack. I'll show you this. I got this old jumper pack right here, as you can see, and it weighs a ton. And it's just, I mean, this thing's old too. It's like dying. I was in desperate need of one of those jumper packs, so. All right, and again, if you guys are enjoying the Subaru build video, stay tuned to the next one where we do all the suspension stuff and another oil pressure switch. And again, I'm crossing my fingers that PO420 comes back because I'm gonna do a pretty in-depth video on that Cataclean to see if that product actually works as well. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate all your support. Peace out. We'll catch you in the next one. Adios.